Excuse me. According to the Center of Diseases, there has been approximately more than 5.2 million people who have died of COVID since the pandemic caused the whole world to shut down. The most effective way to prevent the spread of COVID is to get the vaccine. Getting the vaccine is the only way to prevent COVID and control the spread of it. Why don't you have the vaccine? Everybody cares about family. No one wants to see their own family sick. Getting the vaccine helps you keep your loved ones safe and everyone around you safe. COVID has been a big pandemic. It has taken many lives and has no respect for race, age, or sex. My personal connection to this topic is me losing 5 family members at the beginning of the pandemic when vaccines weren't available for anyone. I'm sure that with the vaccine, they would have had a better chance to fight the virus. And out of my experience, it isn't easy for anyone to see their loved ones going through so much pain. To this day, my uncle, who had COVID, is still waiting for both a lung and a heart transplant, and I don't wish that upon anyone because it hits you very hard and it just drains you. First, I will describe how COVID has affected people. I'll bring up the signs and symptoms one experiences in the early stages and as well as in the later stages. Second, I will describe how the vaccine helps and protects you. I will bring up what the vaccine is made of, or the active ingredient in the vaccine. I will bring up how that active ingredient helps you against the vaccine. And I will bring up how it keeps you safe throughout your life. And third, I will discuss arguments against the vaccine. So anyone that's against the vaccine, getting the vaccine, anyone who thinks or has different beliefs or thinks that the vaccine doesn't work in any way, I will mention that thirdly. So as I shared before, COVID COVID has been an out of control pandemic for almost 2 years. The first signs that one experiences when affected with COVID are headaches, fevers, nausea, coughing, and loss of taste and smell. According to a website called nature.com, the first case of COVID in California was recorded on February 6, 2020, and it was 3 weeks before the first recorded death that happened in Washington state. At the end of 2020 alone, approximately more than 5.1 million people were infected with the virus. So, as the virus kept spreading, more and more people were being infected, especially in the early stages when the vaccine wasn't available. And someone with more serious symptoms experiences shortness of breath, diarrhea, nausea, and vital organ failure. That one is a big one. No one should get organ failure. That's death. They suffer from confusion and they feel a lot of pain in their center chest area. Someone who experiences the more serious symptoms will most likely have side effects for the rest of their lives. My mom told me about that since she does work at Salinas Valley Memorial Hospital as a clinical lab scientist. And this is where I bring her up. She shared to me that the highest number of patients they've had in Memorial, which is the hospital on East Romy Lane by Blanco, she shared to me that 75 people were the most that were admitted into the hospital, but those 75 were admitted to the ICU, which is the intensive care unit. She also shared that most of the older individuals who were admitted to the hospital were being intubated because of their low oxygen levels, and after a couple of days would actually pass away. So my mom Seeing my mom come home from work, it was hard because she saw everything. She ran tests. She would let doctors know how a certain person was feeling when they would when she would when she would draw the blood. So she saw everything, and seeing her come home and telling us who died, not giving us no specifics, but just telling us what age a person died of COVID, how it affects people, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are. It can affect people if you don't have the vaccine. So now that I've talked about the symptoms, I will now explain what the vaccine includes and how it helps you fight the virus. So all of COVID vaccines include mRNA, which is also known as ribonucleic acid. If you paid attention in biology, you would know that specific acid. So the molecules that are in the mRNA contain genetic material, which help our body make proteins that trigger an immune response. So according to CDC, and let me look at my poster for this, COVID-19 vaccines teach our immune system how to recognize and fight the virus that causes COVID. So an individual who does not have the vaccine and is infected does not have the extra help that a vaccinated individual would have. So what does it mean when our body is in an immune response? So when our body is in an immune response, it means that your symptoms will not be as bad as someone who doesn't have the vaccine. The vaccine might help prevent any symptoms at all. My mom had COVID in December, and she didn't even know of it. She didn't know of it because she had the vaccine because of work. She had to get the vaccine since she works in the hospital. So she got the vaccine afterwards. But she got COVID and she didn't even realize she didn't have no symptoms at all. Nothing. It was like a normal day. And it surprised all of us because she was perfect. She was perfect every day. And a big plus of getting the vaccine is lowering the chance of those around you, especially elder, individual with AIDS, and most importantly, individuals that have cancer. In my family, we all have the vaccine, not just for ourselves, but for our grandparents, for our great-grandparents. They still live. So that's a big part of us getting the vaccine, because we all want to have the most time with them since they don't have as much time left. So the smartest idea that we've made was getting the vaccine. So by being vaccinated, you are helping control the spread of the pandemic. So I'm helping control the spread of the pandemic. Anyone who's gotten the vaccine is helping control the spread of the pandemic. So on the other hand, the individuals who are against the vaccine have so many beliefs on the vaccine not working at all. According to CNET, let me go through my poster. Many individuals in the US believe the vaccine was made too fast and wasn't tested. Everyone against the vaccine agrees that a vaccine that hasn't been tested as much shouldn't be available for Americans to receive at all because of the lack of testing. And a lot of people feel forced to get the vaccine. And the bad thing about this is that it makes our government, the US government, look bad. Americans believe that the government is forcing people to take the vaccine so that they can monitor the Americans' lives and be able to control them. Although they believe all that, there are so many reasons why one should get the COVID vaccine. No one wants to endure the symptoms that come in the early and late stages of COVID. The vaccine is making your immune system stronger against the virus. COVID is a serious cause, and it's affecting not just the US, but the whole world. Everyone in the world is getting affected by COVID. And it doesn't matter your race, your age, or sex. It's affecting everyone. Why would you want to see anyone endure these symptoms? How would you feel if it was someone you loved that had the symptoms? The best bet is to get the vaccine and help control the spread.